Welcome back everyone to Let's Play and Let's Learn Rule the Waves. This is episode number 6, and here we go into a Battleship Engagement, which should be a lot of fun. Let's go ahead and accept, and I think we'll have to resize that window one more time. It looks like it doesn't remember your settings, which is a little frustrating, but that's fine. Oh, it didn't not remember them so poorly. I think that looks about right. Okay, good. So what do we have with us? It looks like we only have 2 ships. Order of battle says we have 3. Did I not? Oh, yes, we have our spotting light cruiser back in this era. It's not as you think of it, as if you think of it like I do, which is that destroyers typically should be scouts. Back in this era, I guess light cruisers were the scouts, which was news to me, but there it is. So we're very close to one of our ports, which could be useful, because there is a protective area very close to Cologne. And we have 3 ships. They can possibly have a heavy cruiser and a battleship, but I think our battleship, I trust it enough that I think we're just going to charge forward. So the Oklahoma is going to be firing 4 12-inch guns, and it's going to have those 14 6-inch guns on each side, so 7 per side. I mean 14 total, but 7 per side. That's going to eliminate any kind of destroyers or cruisers that we can come up against. So we'll go ahead and the same thing is true with this battle as was true with the last one, that we can't move or do anything until we spot the enemy ship. So I'll just go ahead and activate all the things and we're good. It is a little bit in the early afternoon, or maybe just exactly in the afternoon. And where is the enemy ship? Ah, wow. So over here, which is good news for our battleship. Now, wind is directly north, so we want to kind of peel on top of them to force them down so that the wind is interfering with their gun sights. So we'll do something like this, go to squad max, and same thing with this guy, let's go to squad max, just to get him over into the action faster. Because this is probably their scouting light cruiser as well, I'm going to guess. And good, he's turning up, which is less good. But if we can get this guy into sight range, it might force them to peel to the right completely, in which case we'll just arc on top of them. Basically, we want even a slight angle. If we consider directly north 0 degrees and follow all the way around to 359 over here, if we're anything between 0 and 180 on our movement, we'll have the advantage firing at them. Okay, so let's do it. This guy is turning the way I expected him to. I'm just going to keep shift clicking over here, and we'll just run through the turns on normal speed for the time being. We're almost in range. We haven't spotted out what kind of ship this is. It might be their battleship. Okay, there's another unidentified ship, which means it's more likely that this is a battleship, and we can see just relative size. This is probably a destroyer or light cruiser, which means that I also have to be very careful with this light cruiser getting just immediately one-shotted by their battleship. So let's see what okay, so that is their battleship. Hopefully we can kind of outrun them and force them to peel over to the right. Gonna reduce the speed of this guy and just move him north a little bit. I do want to kind of peel this battleship to the right, but not at the cost of a light cruiser. Okay, great. So we identified it now. Let's find out what we're up against. So he has the same speed as us. He has 4 12-inch, 12 6-inch, 6 4-inch, and 4... Huh, interesting. So he's just a heavier version of us. 10-inch belt, 8.5-inch turrets. Interesting. So the belt is larger than their turrets, which means if I connect with their turrets or their conning tower, I should be in good shape. However, I think they have me beat. Yeah, their belt is significantly heavier than mine. It's very interesting. Their ship is, in general, in almost every way better than mine. But I think we'll go ahead and we'll fight it anyways. We can't decline every engagement, right? What I think I'll do is take this ship, my destroyer, off of AI control, and I'm going to go ahead and run him towards the battleship to hopefully provoke some action. I just want the battleship to be distracted. Okay, so in order to line up things the way we want, We're going to head north a little bit more, and then we're going to stay on that. Okay, good. He did peel over. Now, what would be even better is if we can ignore the battleship for the time being and instead attack one of the other ships. We do have to be careful with this. Let's try to see. The range, we both have 14-inch ones, right? I have 12-inch and he has 12-inch. Okay, so the 12-inch have this range. I think that means, let's find out exactly what this range is equal to. Okay, just over 10,000. So although we have 6 inches on this one, it's not so much worse range than the other ones. So we're okay. Okay, so that's good. We'll just, we just want to force, again, them to be slightly turned to the right. So I'm going to go a little bit crazy forcing that, hopefully. And as soon as he turns, I'll turn back. All right, so he did his turn. I'm going to turn back. We've also identified their destroyers. Let's see what we're up against. These have 2 3-inch and 4 2-inch. I would say that we're in pretty good shape destroyer-wise. Our destroyers have larger range. Obviously, they have more weapons, which means more likely that they're going to hit us. But that does mean that our light cruisers stand a very good chance against their battleships. So it looks like we're up against exactly 1 battleship and 3 destroyers. So if our battleships can engage each other, we could probably take on all 3 of these destroyers with just our 1 light cruiser. Okay, they are firing at me, but that's okay. I am pulling away already, so we shouldn't take any damage there. And my destroyer is just going to make a bit of a run at them, kind of scare them. And I really want my Oklahoma to, I guess I want him to head directly north as much as possible, because I want, when this battleship pulls back to the left, back to the west, that will mean my Oklahoma continues heading north, so it should be further north than their battleship. If I'm further north, then when I start peeling to the right, he'll have to peel to the right as well. So let's just try to do that. Okay, here's his peel back. If he peels back more than I do, then I should be on top. We're just about even right now. So you can see the smokestack. This is what I'm referring to. Your smokestack. Also, when you fire the guns, it also creates smoke. But your smokestack, because we're using coal, we're coal burners, which does create. I'm sure it's bad for the environment. Not that they knew it back then, but the coal smoke is also blowing off a little bit to the. Well, it should be blowing a little bit left of my ship center line, which we can see it is. Because the wind is not letting it go directly back, it's pushing it up, which means that it goes a little bit to the left. Okay, and the Marengo is coming at, oh, I think we're going to get the angle we desire. Good. And I'm going to go ahead and let this destroyer run a little bit closer again. It is firing at me, which means that I should be able to fire at it. Now, I don't think it's in range to fire all 4 of its weapons. Let's go ahead and take a look at the ship. Oh, I misunderstood. I opened this several times, but I did not actually look and see what is happening here. So they have 4 single turret slots. This is very interesting, which means that they will be able to fire 3 at the same time. However, because I'm using double turret, helicopter flying by, but because I have my double turret configuration, when I get in range, I should be able to fire all 4 of mine. Let's hope that that 1 extra battery ends up making the big difference. Although why I am not actually engaging them yet is kind of a mystery to me. Okay, so we did fire 2, they fired 2 at us and they have straddled us. We finally opened fire at them. All right, let's get the light cruiser back into the action then. Okay, if it's gray, that means that's what happened last turn, but nothing happened this turn. Okay, again, nothing. I don't know why the white dots appear if there's no firing. It might actually be still firing, but not reporting it. I'm going to slow down to 18 to try to increase my chances to hit, since we're already moving in the direction I want to be moving. In fact, it's kind of good news for both of us. When they fire right now, oh yeah, actually their rear turret is going to be obstructed. You can see that the smoke is over their rear turret. Whereas mine, yeah, it's also pretty bad, so it's not great. But let's go ahead and start arcing towards them. I don't want to arc so much that my rear battery can't fire, because remember there's a I can't turn this turret all the way. So if it was to turn this way, it's probably its max. So we don't want to turn too far towards them. We'll eliminate the rear fire, our rear battery's ability to fire. But for now, we'll leave things the way they are. Okay. So that means that the light cruiser is probably going to be doing something weird. It said the signals were misunderstood. So I'm giving it orders from the flagship, which is the Oklahoma. So in Vice Admiral mode, which we said that we're playing as, Rear Admirals mode, you can control ships inside of your sight radius, but sometimes they get their signals confused, so I tell them to do something and they misunderstood. It doesn't look like it is hurting. Oh, yeah, it is. And we're firing, they're firing forward at us. Our destroyer's firing at their destroyer. I don't know why we're not firing at them. I don't really understand this. It looks like they're firing at us now, which is not what I want. Let's slow down and move a little bit closer to our Oklahoma. And we'll get the Chicago to pull in as soon as it has any clue what it's doing here. This is very frustrating, the miscommunication that has occurred. It could cost the Chicago her life. Oh, looks like she's responding to signals again. Okay, good. All much ado about nothing. So you can only get relative speeds to the nearest 5. It's saying that they're all at 15. I would be at 20 for any of mine, which is good. That means that I am going to get them to be firing into the smoke. Although, to be honest, it's not going to make a huge difference. But I'm going to make just a 5-degree course correction, which is pretty minor. It shouldn't affect our ability to shoot too much. Now let's get the Chicago to bend in as well. So what I want is the hull exactly where she is, which is just close enough to fire at their destroyers, but not close enough that their destroyers can fire at her. That is definitely an optimal. And we'll slow her down a little bit more. The same thing with the Chicago. It looks like the Chicago might be taking fire from the Marengo. And I can't identify that very well, but let's take a look. The main batteries are firing that direction, and we can't tell because these are casemate. It doesn't show which direction the turrets are facing. But probably they're firing at the Chicago since the Chicago has a lot of white dots. Okay, I think everything's good. We're doing everything to the best we can. Okay, the first hit of the game. So we fired 4 of our 12 inches at the Marengo, and 1 has hit. They fired at us, and they straddled us, but 0 hits so far. We can look, and that doesn't show anything here. If we do some damage, it might report, although often it's very, very incorrect, whether they have light, medium, or heavy damage. For now, we'll just continue going on the course we're going, and that's that. Oh, good. So now we're firing our 7 inches at the Marengo as well, and we also got 1 hit. Although the 6-inch weapons probably won't do anything against the massive armor of the Marengo. So because of that, I actually want to pull back a little bit. I'd rather that my secondaries fire at the destroyers, to be honest, but that's okay. So let's get this light cruiser to slow down as well. The Marengo is firing at us, but just 3 versus 4, I hope, is the reason why we're more successful. Actually, I don't want to do that. I think I'll just do this course change. And I'll kind of spin the hull like this. Oh, good. So now we're firing at the Marengo with the Chicago. I think that's a good thing because actually there is a penalty for more ships. The more ships that engage an enemy ship, it's worse off for your fire rate. So I'm going to pull the Chicago back. What I want to do is engage the destroyers, but they're doing the smart thing and they're not allowing the Chicago to get close enough. So, and we did hit them again with our 12-inch guns, which definitely can be effective. So we'll move a little closer with the hull. Again, anything over 6 inches is going to have a penalty firing against the hull. So let's kind of draw their destroyers towards us so that the Chicago is more effective. Yeah, we're just going to spin around with the Chicago since their destroyers are doing something weird. We'll kind of mirror that. So we fired 4 at them, they fired 3 back at us, but everyone's missing so far. And we're almost close enough to launch torpedoes, to be honest. That's not very smart of the Marengo to let us get this close. I am actually uncomfortably close, so I'm going to move back a little bit like this. Actually, no, I'm not going to, because the further we are tilted to the right, the better it is for us as far as the wind direction goes. Okay, so they did fire and get a hit against us. If I rest my cursor on the Oklahoma's hull, we can see that that's 4% damage. And you can actually take the log. It says that our secondary battery was hit. So that was considered a heavy hit. That means that the heavy weapon hit it. I kind of want the hull to be absorbing a little bit of the attention. Okay, the Chicago's turret jammed, which is going to be reported as damage. And in a way it is, but it just means one of their turrets is not going to be able to shoot. So we'll go ahead and pull in. They might be making a flotilla assault on us. Just to be careful about that, I'm going to have the hull also kind of react. They're pulling away. So good, the Chicago is going to be firing at the destroyers now. That's really good. We did also hit, I didn't notice this because I wasn't really paying attention to the turn by turn, but it looks like we hit them again with our 12-inch. Oh, good. So they're firing their medium guns at the hull. That's good. I do want the hull to kind of like absorb. Ah, man, why do they keep misunderstanding signals? I didn't have this problem in my last playthrough, but that's fine. As long as the hull doesn't misunderstand, that could be devastating for us. Wow, it's just... Okay, I'm going to go Squad Max. He just doesn't seem to be taking my destroyer threat very seriously, so we might as well go and launch. I think the hull has torpedo launchers on either side, so let's go ahead and go and launch a torpedo at them. Okay, good. They pulled back. Excellent. So let's go back down to cruise and back up to 19. And it doesn't look like the Chicago cares what's going on, but we want them to kind of get in between the Marengo and the destroyers. Okay. Good, we're targeting the P class now. Boy. We don't want our destroyer firing at them. No, in fact, I'm going to go ahead and say, just hold your fire. So I right-click on the destroyer. I'm saying hold fire. Don't even fire at them. You won't do anything. So they're firing light guns at me. That's what I want. I want them to become distracted with the hull. Meanwhile, the Chicago is kind of cutting off the destroyers from the battleship, which is good. We're actually going to try to do that even more. Which is kind of forcing him to peel off, which is good. So let me go ahead and turn a little bit more with my own unit. You can see what we're doing. You can see what we're doing here. We're forcing the Marengo to act because of the Chicago, which is good. Because all that turning is going to disrupt their ability to shoot. And our Chicago should be firing this entire time at the peak class, which we see based on the white dots, it should be. And I think we also, yeah, we actually went to the starboard side, and the port side is where we have the missing turret. So that's good. Everything is looking good. I'm pretty happy with the way the fight is developing. The Marengo is turning a little bit more, and we do want to keep coming over the top of her, so I'll turn a little bit more myself. When they start firing at the Chicago like this, that's when I'm going to be a little more careful. So we'll pull back. Like, okay, all right, buddy, you got it. And we hit the Marengo class with, well, just the 6-inch guns, which is not important. So let's get the hull to keep sucking back in. What is the speed? Why don't you match the speed for now? Oh, no, 19's fine. And this one, we need to probably go up to 21. We'll just slowly start catching up to the Oklahoma. And we'll actually turn a little bit closer to the Marengo. Because, yeah, we want that the more we turn, the more the wind is going to affect the Marengo. Okay, good. It looks like the Marengo might even be fleeing action. I doubt it because we haven't done much to her. It doesn't even report damage, but hard to interpret this any other way. We'll go ahead and move 10 more to try to keep them in range. Chicago repaired its turret. We are still firing. Everything's good. They misunderstood signals and they decided that what they should do is bull charge the destroyers. Well, that's really not good, but we'll just have to correct them as soon as we can. Let's see. We have hit them again with our 12-inch, and they have again missed. The more damage you do to them, the more likely they are to miss. There is a, let's see if we can go to, yeah, here we go. So rate of fire, under fire means that, oh, ship's fouling the range. Oh my goodness. So we got to get the destroyer out of the way. The smoke interference is the -20, is the thing I'm talking about with the wind. But we got to get this destroyer out of the way. So I didn't realize that, but that's really good. Let's go squad max and immediately just turn. Get the heck out of here. Because you're decreasing our rate of fire. Let's see, is it still happening? Details. Yeah, we got rid of it already. Excellent. So let's slow this guy back down. And pull him just right up next to the Oklahoma. We'll let the Chicago kind of mess around with the destroyers, but... Okay, they finally landed a hit against us. Or I think they actually landed one before, right? But it looks like nothing real. Nothing big. And we're almost to 90 degrees, which is perfect for this wind. Okay, the Chicago has finally realized the error of her ways. So that's good. She's done a good job pushing them where I want. And it's just unfortunate that she hasn't landed any hits against these destroyers. Yeah, when the autosave happens, you have to click on a ship. Okay, so they hit me again. A hull hit. It did increase my damage to 10%, but let's go ahead and stick it out for the time being. Maybe I'll even lower my speed by 1 to try to increase my effective accuracy. Oh my gosh, what are you doing? You'd think once they misunderstood one signal, they would pay more attention, but it's just not the case. Okay, we hit them again. Wow, with the 6-inch. Blast. I don't even want to. I don't care about the 6-inch. They're coming back towards us a little bit, but I'll let it happen. Again with the 6-inch, but they missed us at least. So now we should have the best chance to, we should have our really good rate of fire right now. Crew quality is good. Under fire -10, but yeah, we're not suffering the smoke attack, a smoke penalty, which they should be suffering. And we're also not suffering the destroyer in the way. Everything is good. And we hit them with our 12-inch. That's good. The Marengo is now showing light damage. I think light damage is 25 to 50. We don't want the Chicago firing. Well, not at the battleship at least. Okay, good. Now it's firing at the destroyer. This is what we want. And again, they're... Okay, so their destroyers are starting to close for some reason. Being very suspicious of this activity, I'm going to draw the hull back over. I'm also going to keep the light cruiser nearby. Okay, they pulled back, so it was just a nothing. Maybe they got their flags confused. Although it is still worthwhile. If the light cruiser even gets one hit, I think that it'll be enough for us to seriously damage one of their destroyers. Unfortunately, no luck. And that's really secondary. If we sink the battleship, that's the big thing. We got another hit with a 12-inch. That's great. Okay, let's turn back with the Chicago because it's effectively out of the range we want. No, don't fire at the Marengo. Okay, we'll just set him to not fire. Hold fire for the time being. Good. I think you can actually instruct him who to target, but they don't listen. So it's just better if we just want the Oklahoma to hit. It's what we want to happen. We fired, but we missed. That's really unfortunate. Thank goodness they fired and missed as well, because we're getting pretty close. All right, this is probably close enough where I'm going to once again make a run at them, try to force them back. We did hit them with our 12 inches again. That's good. Good, we can target the destroyer. So if that's the case, I will allow him to fire again. And we hit him with the 6 inches, but that's not as important. Good, they are retreating, and we got them again with the 12 inch. That's excellent. Since they're turning away a little bit, I'm going to turn a little bit towards them. And it looks like the destroyers are coming to screen. This might be them pulling back for the day. We want to continue to engage them for as long as possible. Whoops. 85 might be a little too much. Let's go to 79. I wanted the hull to be moving towards the enemy, because if these destroyers come after me, I need my destroyer in the way to guard against like torpedo runs. Yes, exactly like this. Ah, yes. Another thing is about to occur is we're about at 6:30, and I guess it's going to be dusk soon. So if I zoom out far enough, you can see that this is like twilight, and then this is night. You can see that down here. Day, twilight, night. So we'll start losing visibility. I think it's already a victory. We can go ahead and pull back for the time being. I'll set my Oklahoma to try to get some last final shots. You can see that line of sight is going to decrease quite a bit, though, in twilight. Now let's go ahead and do that for the hull. Let the Chicago slow down a little bit so we can just start taking shots at all the destroyers. Oh, they are definitely making a run. This is it. This is the torpedo run. So as soon as they turn, that means they fired their torpedoes. But just preemptively, I'm going to go ahead and go to squad max and turn my battleship away. This is where it's really very dangerous, because one torpedo could easily sink my battleship. We know that their torpedoes are probably fired away. Oh, no, I don't think they were close enough, so they probably fired them at the Chicago. I'm going to turn into the torpedoes, though, and go to squad max. Hopefully that'll prevent any hits. And I want to chase them for as long as possible. Squad max. And please turn back towards them. Squad max. Good. We got a hit with 3 of our Chicago's firing at one of them. That's good. Let's keep it up. Hull, feel free to engage at any time now. Okay, it looks like they're... So the Marengo class has decided to turn back kind of towards the battle. But if we can sink their destroyers, that'll really put us in a huge advantage. Oh, wow, the Chicago's fire, the Marengo's firing at the Chicago. Well, that's not spectacular. It looks like we've eliminated one of the destroyers. So Chicago has done it. She's eliminated this last destroyer. Let's get her to try to change her fire to the next one. Ah, looks like she's already doing it. Because these... In this area, you didn't know if a ship was sinking or not. I'm just judging by the fact that this ship's only going 5 knots and has heavy damage, that it's probably already sinking. In any case, whether it's sinking or not, it's out of the picture. So let's just ignore it and start firing at other ones. The hull should be doing some damage at this point. Let's slow it down a little bit to increase its chance to hit. And hopefully the Oklahoma is also able to fire. Making sure that the Marengo is basically out of the picture now, because I think it's out of... Yeah, it's out of the gun range for the Oklahoma, which means that it's probably outside of the gun range for anything else. And the distance definitely matters in terms of accuracy, if that wasn't, extremely obvious. I do need to be a little careful with the Oklahoma, though, because she still is very vulnerable to her torpedoes. I'm just assuming that their torpedo technology isn't so much better than mine that they can launch torpedoes when I can't. They're just danger close. But I am screening with the hull. That's exactly what she's supposed to do. Let's get the Chicago to go squad max, which she is, and kind of turn in. Okay, this is good. Let them turn back like that, but let's pursue. And let's slow down so we can turn quick. And hopefully the Chicago will get off a few shots. Obviously, I'm not worried about this guy. What I could do is take down the coordinates so you can see this 1017, 7928 west. I could take down these coordinates and always come back and destroy it because it might not actually be sinking yet. It doesn't look like it is. But hopefully I can... Well, let's just turn towards... Ah, well, that's not good. Let's get you to do the right thing as soon as you can. They are definitely steaming back towards the battleship. I think it is time for our Oklahoma to kind of pinch in and go squad max. The hull will eventually realize the error of her ways. Ah, and now this is the real moment of truth when our line of sight becomes less than our firing radius. So we can do two things right now. Accepting the fact that we've probably done more damage to the Marengo than she's done to us. I can just go back over here and finish off this one ship. In which case I'm actually going to set this guy on AI controlled. I'm going to move towards the peak with my battleship and also with my light cruiser. And we're only going to make runs from her stern. Because if I make runs from her starboard or port, she might fire... I'm assuming that the peak have two above water, it looks like center lines, so they can't fire rear or front. Bow or stern. They can only fire starboard or port. So we're just going to make these runs to eliminate this destroyer, and then we'll go all our separate ways, and that'll be the end of this battle. We can probably speed up things a little bit. We can also slow down a little bit because we're about to engage an enemy very close. Is that the... Is that her? Yes, I think that's her. It makes sense. She's moving very slow. She probably has heavy damage. Yeah, that's her. That's the one. Let's go ahead and finish her off, and then we can call this episode to a close. So she's moving so slow, I might as well just move even 16 knots. Okay, she's turned towards, so we'll turn behind to prevent any torpedo action. This also gives us broadside. So I'm just going to constantly pivot behind so that I can't be hit by any torpedoes. And if we keep this up with both ships at the same time, I think it is only shouldn't take very long for us to land a hit, which will end up destroying her. Okay, Chicago, you've made a mistake. Turn away. We probably don't need to be firing at her with our 12-inch torpedoes. In fact, I'll even make a flotilla attack, so we'll get our destroyer in on the action. Alright, Chicago, that's quite enough. Come back as quickly as possible. Oh, good. So we hit it with one of our 12-inch. That's probably enough. Main thing here, again, just don't get hit by torpedoes. What I'm doing here is almost... It's probably a little too risky. I'm going to take control of the hull, in fact. I don't want anybody hit by a torpedo. So... Good, it's firing at the Oklahoma. That's the good news. Now what happened? Is this... Do we get... Oh, good, a turret jammed. So the turret jam is just an artificial thing. The damage will be repaired. This artificial red is only because the turret is jammed. That damage will go away the moment that the turret is fixed. Okay, let's go ahead and fire some broadside. It would be nice. Oh, wow. That's probably it. We'll turn back. That's going to sink her. Yep. Oh boy, don't get hit by torpedoes. So we'll go ahead and squad max away. That one's definitely going down. All right, good. So that's going to conclude this this battle. We'll set this guy back to AI. Whoops. AI controlled. We'll turn off our flotilla attack. Set max speed back towards Cologne, I guess. And I'll even turn on the Chicago as AI controlled, but we'll do support so that she doesn't go away. We want everyone kind of close by. But I'm going to go ahead and turn on normal speed because that ship's sinking. If we wanted to get a few extra points, we could stay nearby and actually... AI controlled. Forgot that. And actually pick up some of the survivors, but the amount of points you get for picking up survivors is relatively small. It's usually not worth doing. It's like 30 points when a battle is usually like 2,000 points. It doesn't ever have an impact. Okay, good. Now we just have to swim around in a circle until 8,000 has been completed. We'll go ahead and go like 12 to save fuel or whatever, I don't know. And go ultra fast, go in a circle until this mission is complete. And then we'll call this video to a close. So I hope you enjoyed the first Battleship Engagement. I'm a little surprised that the French ships, I thought we would do a little better. Okay, good. So it's over, and let's see how we did. So USA minor victory. We got 3,900 in points for damage to them. We sunk one of their destroyers and did medium damage to their battleship, and they did light damage to my battleship and my light cruiser. If we want to go to the details, we can see exactly how much damage we did. So we did 3,000 damage to their battleship, actually. And we sunk their destroyer with over 800. And they only did 800 damage to my battleship and 76 to my Chicago. So that's good. Overall, a nice little win. Let's see how much it nets us. Go ahead and leave the scenario. So we got 359 victory points and they got 118, which means that we'll be way ahead in the war. All right, great. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a nice battleship engagement. Only one-on-one, which we can get more of the battleships involved later on in the war when the budgets allow a few more battleships. But for the time being, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next.